Welcome to the Sod Cemetery in its 60th season. It celebrates Seminole wins against the crowd and against the odds when no one gave FSU much of a chance. When you're near Doak Campbell, we hope you'll drop by and visit the cemetery. You can press the button and you can hear from former Seminole players who tell you about their days in bringing home the sod for victory and for burial. Sod Talk, connecting Seminole fans with Seminole legends. Today, two-time Super Bowl champion Seminole Bryant McFadden talks with our All-American, Lou Groza Award-winning kicker, now a New York Giant, Gano. Welcome to Sod Talk, B-Mac and Graham.
Thank you, Doug. And now for one of the best specialists to ever do it, to ever wear the garnet and gold. Our very own Gano is joining us here for this Sod Talk episode. Graham, thank you for joining us. How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing good, B-Mac. Thanks for having me on here, man. I'm feeling good. Just finished up practice and in between meetings, so excited to be here.
I know you're feeling real good right now. The Giants are 2-0. You had a big game kick last week against the Carolina Panthers, so I know you're on cloud nine right now, man. Let's keep that momentum going in regards to this big game you have coming up next week as well. But let's get straight to it. Let's start in the beginning, Graham. In high school, you were USA Today first-team All-American as a punter and a kicker in 2005 from Cantonment near Pensacola. Did I say that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, Cantonment, right, which is near Pensacola. You had 3 field goals of over 56 yards, punted for over 42-yard average. I'm pretty sure you could have gone anywhere in the country based on the accolades and based on how good you were, but you decided to pick Florida State. Tell us why.
Oh, man, I grew up watching Sebastian Janikowski and those winning teams they had there. And my dad was a big Florida State fan. So naturally, I gravitated towards what he liked. And when Florida State offered me, Coach Andrews called and said, you can come here if you want. You have a scholarship offer. And I was floored. So I committed right away. Told all the other teams I didn't even want to entertain anything. So I was excited to be a Nole. That's where I wanted to go.
And Graham, throughout your high school career, what people don't know or might not know is you were a jack of many trades, master of all, right? Not only you were one of the best kickers and punters in the land, but you were also you were a pretty good athlete. And in high school for the Tate Aggies, I see that you were a champion in the 100-meter. You ran a 10.55. In the 200, you ran a 21.7. Man, that's fast for any positional player, better yet, a kicker. So is it safe to say you probably are the fastest kicker in the National Football League right now?
Yeah, I'd take myself up in a race against some guys. I'm getting up there in age, but I still feel like I can run pretty well. So hopefully I don't have to use that speed a whole lot. I try not to chase many guys, but yeah, I went in my freshman year running a 5.25 and left running a 4.4. So
wow, I just feel some type of way, Graham. When you were there in Tallahassee, we didn't see any fake field goals or anything like that with you involved with that speed you had.
Yeah, I'm always advocating for some fakes, but they say they don't want to get me hurt and something like that. I'm still every day in the coach's ear, like, hey, let's run a fake, but not happening.
Yeah, let's go back to Florida State. In your senior year in 2008, you were 24 of 26 for field goals and the best in college ball. The Lou Groza Award winner. But for you, the first 3 years, you didn't really kick a single point. And then you became the kickoff man. You averaged around 42 yards per punt. How did that happen? And was it frustrating not to be kicking any points?
I'd lie if I said it wasn't frustrating. My dream was to kick field goals at FSU, but I actually signed there and Coach Andrews said, hey, you're going to be our punter, and you could build up into being a kicker one day. So I was okay with that. I was able to hone in on my punting skills and kick off early. I started kicking off freshman year, but we had Gary Sismacia, and he was an All-American, and so I was able to learn behind him. And when I finally got that opportunity my senior year, it was a dream come true. I still remember my first game was against Wake Forest. They said I was going to have short field goals because I had a knee injury, and the first field goal was I think 52 yards right hash, and I missed it. And I looked at the holder, Sean Powell, and I said, that was the best thing ever. And he was like, you got to be crazy. You missed the kick. And I was like, but this has been my dream, and I know I can do it now. So,
wow.
Yeah, we went on. We had a pretty good run after that, and it was crazy. That was just my mindset, though. I dreamt of kicking field goals there, and when I finally got that chance, I just rolled with it.
Well, Graham, just like myself, you had the opportunity to play for one of the best to ever do it in college football, the late, great Bobby Bowden. Do you have any fun, exciting memories you can share with us with Coach B?
Man, I love playing for Coach Bowden. He was one of the main reasons that I wanted to go to Florida State. Got tons of stories. A couple stick out to me was the first time he came to our house for a recruiting visit. He only had a little bit of time, but he came, sat on my dad's recliner in our living room, kicked his leg over the side, and just talked to us about our faith, family, the entire time. And one of the things that stuck out to me is he didn't bring up football once. So that meant a lot to my parents and myself. And then the other time we would play a lot of games at practice, thinking coach couldn't see us, and he was up in his tower at practice watching everything. But where we were, we thought he couldn't see us. So we'd ball up some tape, we'd order pizza at practice, all kinds of crazy stuff that we didn't think he could see. And one day, after we had played baseball and we're walking out, he was like, "Hey, Graham, what was the score of the game today?" And I was like, "What are you talking about, coach?" And he was like, "The baseball game. Y'all play behind the training room out there on the field." He's like, "I watch you guys every day playing that." And I was, all of us were kind of floored. We're like, "Oh no, we're about to get in trouble." He's like,
Yeah.
"I don't care." He's like, I enjoy it. Half the time I'm watching you guys goof around. Um, but he was awesome. I've got a ton of great memories of him, and he definitely made a huge impact on my life.
No question. And talking about that impact, because of your success in Tallahassee, you had the opportunity of getting to the NFL. Now, currently in year 14, being in the National Football League, think about that. But the road has not always been easy for you. First year you got cut by the Ravens. It led to an opportunity with the Las Vegas Locomotives of the UFL to a championship. Then Washington signed you. You had some game-winning kicks for Washington as well. And now currently you with the New York Football Giants. Just take us through your career and some of the things that you learned while at Florida State that was able to put you in positions to be able to still be in the National Football League today and doing a great job.
Yeah, I think, man, throughout my whole career, and especially at Florida State, I had to deal with a lot of adversity. I was faced with a lot of choices. Whether I was injured and would I persevere through these things. I remember my senior year, it was 2 weeks before the season, and I was slated to start as the kickoff guy, punter, and place kicker. And I rolled out on a punt and tore my meniscus in my kicking leg. And so I remember thinking, man, I had all these high hopes and dreams, and they just got shattered, with that one practice. And so I went up to Coach Bowden's office, and he sat me down and was and talked to me about, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. Maybe I should medical redshirt. And so after the conversation, he said, "You know what I think you should do? Just pray about it, and maybe you give it a shot. If you can't do it, then you can redshirt. But if you can, give it a chance." And so at that time, I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to play." Right. So 4 weeks go by, had the surgery. 4 weeks go by, end up having the best season I had to that point at Florida State. Won the Lou Groza Award, me and my guys there, and it was just something I couldn't have pictured myself, and I wouldn't have been there had I not followed his advice. And then throughout the whole NFL career, getting cut 3 times, having to play in the UFL, and it's just overcoming some adversity. But I feel like those times that I had at Florida State, I was able to be more prepared down the road for that, and even be thankful for those memories and those opportunities, because without those, without going through that stuff, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And,
Yeah.
I met my wife at FSU, and she helped me through all of that as well. So there's so many people that, I'm thankful for throughout this whole time. It's not something I did on my own. It took a lot more people to help me get here.
No question. And talking about, your time at Florida State and the memories, you had an opportunity to create a new memory this past April. You had an opportunity to bring your entire family to Tallahassee this April as you were being inducted into the FSU Hall of Fame. Now you're a Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Famer. Tell us a little bit about what that moment meant to you and
Oh
your.
man, I remember getting that phone call, and I just couldn't wait to tell my wife. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I played with so many amazing men at Florida State, and so I was just speechless, really. And it's such an honor to be able to, share that podium up there with so many great athletes. And And I just feel so blessed to to have that honor, for the rest of my life, to be able to share that with my family and my wife and my parents, my brothers, and my kids were there to be able to see it. So those are things I'll never forget. And Gene Deckerhoff was there, and he's a legend. So it was just really, really neat experience, and just humbling, really, to have been able to play for Coach Bowden, and to see how it all played out. It wasn't my plan as such as I would have made it, but I couldn't have written it any better. So just so blessed and grateful that I was able to play at Florida State.
Deserve it, man. Everything
Thanks.
you've been able to accomplish, you worked hard for it. You deserve it, and I know you got many more accomplishments coming your way to you and your
I
family.
appreciate it.
Giant Graham Gano, Triple G is what we need to call. Triple G, man, thank you for being a Sod Talk legend for this episode. You got to know, and I know you know this, Seminole Nation is always rooting and pulling for you. And because of that, we're rooting and pulling for the New York Giants. And I'm doing the same thing as long as you guys are not playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I hope you're okay with that.
I got to get some of those trophies like you have in the background. That's my goal.
No question. They coming. You just keep kicking like how you kicked last Sunday, and y'all going to be in a real good position when it's all said and done.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Graham.